I would do everything for my legacy and my career, and I'm looking forward to it.
I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him.
Terence Crawford breaks it all down, the fight, the flaws, and why Canelo's legacy might not be what you think. During a never-before-seen interview, Crawford revealed that his interest in facing Canelo Alvarez had first been sparked a few years ago during a conversation with Bill Haney, who had initially suggested the idea. At the time, Crawford admitted he was not ready to take on Canelo at the higher weight class. However, as time went on and he began seriously exploring the possibility, the matchup gradually shifted from a distant thought to a realistic goal.
What came to me a few years ago, talking to Bill Haney and him suggesting that I should say forget Errol Spence and go out there Canelo Alvarez. And at that time, I was just, like, man, I'm not moving up that weight, to fight Canelo. And then I started looking more into it, and then it became more of a reality, fight than anything.
Building on that evolution, Crawford has made it clear that he's not relying on past performances to dictate the future. As he prepares for this high-stakes showdown, Bud emphasized that each bout presents a unique challenge, and Canelo's style poses a completely new test. Rather than recycling old tactics, Crawford is crafting a strategy specifically tailored to the Mexican superstar.
I don't take nothing from it, because styles make fights, and Canelo has a different style than Israel Mazimov. So, we just go from there.
Did you notice any differences in yourself, your ability to carry power or take a shot or anything like that?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Canelo is a great fighter. Like, I always had respect for Canelo. I always, liked it to watch him and things like that. I think he does a lot of great things in the ring. I think he work hard. I think his work ethic is, to the roof. But I just believe in my skills. I believe in me, and the fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more just to try to get the fight even more. I remember back in the day, I was just like, man, they was like, man, would you ever fight Canelo? I was like, man, Canelo too big, like, he in a different weight class.
Adding another layer to the conversation, David Benavidez weighed in, expressing confidence that if anyone stands a real chance at toppling Canelo right now, it's Terence Crawford. He pointed to Crawford's combination of strength and elite boxing IQ as key assets. However, Benavidez also highlighted a major concern, the weight disparity. He noted that Crawford has had to make a significant leap in weight, which could play a critical role once the fight unfolds.
Opportunity, it has a chance to beat Canelo. I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight, And he didn't have a hard time at 154, but he wasn't like, the other guy was getting him with some good punches, So he felt the power at 154. So imagine you go up to 160, 160. Madrimov, yeah, Madrimov is a good fighter. And then, you find a strong fighter like Canelo.
Despite that, Benavidez was quick to acknowledge the magnitude of the clash, noting that it's the kind of high-stakes fight where anything can happen. Given Crawford's skill set and mentality, Benavidez admitted he would not be surprised if Terence managed to pull off the upset. He added that you must watch these fights and let them play out to see what will eventually unfold.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if he loses either. I think Terence Crawford, when he went up against the best opposition, like Errol Spence, he showed what level he's on, what type of dog he is. So it's just, I don't know, you really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That shit might activate him to, come back strong. Or I don't know, or he might, I don't know. We got to sit and see.
Speaking of weaknesses, Benavidez offered insight into Canelo Alvarez's vulnerabilities, pointing out that the bigger, more powerful opponents Canelo has faced in the past have exposed some cracks in his ability to absorb heavy shots. According to Benavidez, trying to land a single knockout punch is not the way to beat Canelo. Instead, he emphasized the importance of using sharp jabs and sustained combinations to control the pace and keep Canelo on the back foot.
He gets pushed back by them. He gets he doesn't really take the shots well, like as when he took the shots against Billy Joe Sanders and Caleb Plant. So he's vulnerable for them shots. And then when Munguia was throwing more combinations, you could kind of see Canelo coming back. Getting pushed back. I feel like Canelo, he's too smart of a fighter. You just try to one-shot him. You have to throw combinations and keep him on the end of the jab. And also use the ring. What Munguia messed up at, he stopped using that game plan, and if he'd
He
stay on
just
the
started
inside,
pressing more.
that's when he would get caught with the body shots and the uppercuts.
For Crawford, the challenge is clear, but so is the opportunity. With the Canelo showdown drawing closer, the former undisputed champion is embracing the moment. He's not just stepping into a ring, he is stepping into history.
I would do everything for my legacy and my career, and I'm looking forward to it.
Have you considered at all what happens if you lose?
No, not at all. I don't think about losing because I'm too busy thinking about winning.
When you going into a bigger weight class like that, you know what I mean, you size him up and you see, your advantages and his advantages. I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I feel like, I got the better skills, boxing skills. As a whole, and looking at a lot of people like, man, you can't beat him. Then I'm looking at him and I'm watching him. I'm like, man, I can beat this dude. And then everybody like, oh man, you think you can beat Canelo? Oh man, he too big. And I'm like, I've been fighting people bigger than me all my life since I was a little kid, so I always been undersized and I always came out on top, so this is no different than anyone else in my eyes. Yeah, you're gonna get hit. It's a fight.
In addition, Crawford acknowledged the unpredictable nature of boxing, noting that anyone can get hurt or knocked out once the bell rings. While he is not underestimating the risks or his opponent, he made it clear that he's not stepping into the ring with a knockout as his sole objective. Instead, he's focused on executing his game plan with discipline, knowing the finish could come if the opportunity presents itself.
Well, anybody can get hurt. Anybody can get, knocked out. I don't put it past nobody, but I'm not going in there looking for a knockout.
One step at a time, but is there a chance that this is your last fight?
Who knows? We shall see.
Echoing that sentiment, Roy Jones Jr. added that the unpredictability surrounding the bout, noting that the outcome heavily hinges on Canelo's approach. According to Jones, if Canelo enters the ring trying to outbox Crawford while carrying the mindset of being the superior fighter, he could find himself in serious trouble.
It's a hard one to call, and I'm going to tell you why it's a hard one to call. It's a hard one to call because it'll all be predicated upon how Canelo approaches the fight. If Canelo approaches the fight like he's the man and he can box and outbox Terence Crawford, he'll get beat. If he comes out and shows that he really wants to go out and prove the world that he's still the best, he might win. So it all depends on which Canelo come to the dance.
Man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's gonna be a tough one. So right now, I think it can go either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo fights.
You've been a guy that's in the weight class. How do you think Terence Crawford should handle the weight? Should he come in lighter? Should he come right around the weight limit?
Come in as big as he can get. If you get to the weight limit, because there is a weight limit, get to the weight limit.
What he would look to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if he gets the win. Like, oh my God.
However, promoter Eddie Hearn suggested that the Mexican superstar may no longer be in his prime. While Hearn praised his discipline, he pointed to diminishing timing and ring-cutting ability, and raised doubts about whether Canelo still has the drive to handle someone as dynamic as Crawford.
He couldn't cut the ring off. I just feel like the timing now, the age, Canelo is amazing. I mean, not just because of his ability and what he's accomplished, but the fact that he still has the desire for those training camps and those fights. But I just feel like that desire might be fading a little bit. Not because of his love for, but just because of age and life. Do you know what I mean?
On the other side, Mike Tyson named Canelo Alvarez as his pound-for-pound best, but acknowledged that the Mexican superstar is nearing the end of his career. Tyson expressed strong interest in seeing a showdown between Canelo and David Benavidez, urging that Canelo should give the undefeated contender a shot.
It's tough. There's a couple of them out there. You have to go with Canelo, but there's still so many the young up-and-coming lightweights. The Canelo's almost on his way out. They got some other guy. And what Benavidez, he's a great fighter coming up. He'll be great. Man, there's so many great fighters out there, man.
But
that's one thing they have, is great fighters out there. It's some new guys out there that the young man David Benavidez,
Yes.
I call him the monster. He's tough. I would love to see Canelo fight him.
However, Terence Crawford revealed that while his official training camp for the Canelo fight has not begun, he's remained disciplined and consistent with his routine. The former undisputed champion emphasized that he never allows himself to go too long without training, keeping his body and mind sharp year-round in preparation for moments like this.
Camp right now for Canelo?
Not yet.
Not yet? So what do you do? But are you
I'm
training?
still training. I'm always training.
I know, that's right.
I'm always training.
Are you lifting more weights now?
Not at all.
So is it safe to say in the Canelo fight, you won't be weighing 168? You're gonna come under because you're not used to fight, or will you be 168?
I don't know. We gotta see. You shall see. Entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. Like, he might be thick, you know what I mean, but he's not a big dude. You know what I mean? Like, Benavidez is like 6 foot something. You know what I mean? Then he gonna come in 190, 200 probably, you know what I mean? Like, you never know. Like,
Furthermore, Terence acknowledged that a victory over Canelo Alvarez would solidify his place among boxing's all-time greats. He agreed with the idea that such a win would elevate his legacy to historic levels, noting that even within the elite company of boxing legends, he's accomplished feats that few others can claim.
those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters, but when you see the skill level, it's night and day.
So how do you see a fight with Canelo
first? Why not?
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about all time.
All
Like
time.
Ali, Floyd, I'm talking about all time.
When you talk about all these other fighters who would have done or accomplished anything close to it.
No, I agree.
No, I'm asking you.
No, none of them.
All right then, so why would they all be?
No, but you know how some people won't, they'll say.
Say Sugar Ray Robinson, he never went up 3 weight classes and fought the undisputed
The top
champion.
Right.
You know, and a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best Mexican fighters that come out of Mexico.
Of all time, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a difference when you talk about moving up in weight and who you fighting, you know?
Amid all the speculation, Kamaru Usman questioned the narrative circulating among some fans and boxing figures that Canelo Alvarez is afraid to face certain opponents. The former UFC champion dismissed the idea, stating that fear has no place in the mindset of a world champion. While acknowledging that a bit of concern is natural before any big fight, Usman emphasized that Canelo does not come across as a fighter who shies away from challenges.
I've been hearing this a lot. I absolutely don't believe Canelo is scared. And I think you understand that as well. You know that. But there's something.
I disagree, but go
There's something, because you're not scared to be a world champion. I don't care if it's someone that's extremely, that might be dangerous to you, but that's what we do. That's what you do. That's what you taking all these, you sparring with these guys since you were young. Of course you might be a little worried on the inside, but you step in there and you spar with these guys anyways. And then you get done, you're like, oh, I didn't die.
Yeah.
I'm good. So I don't believe that rhetoric. Oh, Canelo's scared. And I agree, he's a smaller in stature. The one thing about him though, when he does get inside the ring, he's big. He's big. The way he corners guys, the way he kind of breaks guys down over time, he's big.
Yeah.
Actually watching and studying him.
Adding another unique perspective, Alexis Rocha, having shared the ring and sparring sessions with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, believes Crawford will more than hold his own. He credits Crawford's high boxing IQ as his greatest weapon, even if he slightly leans toward Canelo in what he expects to be a razor-close battle.
Yes, there is weight classes for a reason. Canelo is a lot bigger. Crawford he also has a good size to him where he has that good size and he has that reach and he has that boxing IQ. That's the most important thing when it comes to a boxing game, is the IQ. I think Crawford will hold his own very good in that fight. But I will lean a little bit more towards Canelo, given the fact that he's more experienced and he's been in there with bigger guys.
Yet, not everyone is convinced the size issue is overblown. Legendary broadcaster Jim Lampley noted that the kind of weight gap Crawford is facing is rarely handled well, especially in the middleweight range. He pointed out that Canelo has absorbed punches from much bigger men, and the real question is whether Crawford can generate enough power to truly trouble him.
Well, my first thought is whether it's 14 pounds and 21 pounds, it's a big gap. And it's not the kind of gap that fighters are normally able to easily deal with, particularly in the middle range of weight classes. You know, Terence Crawford has not fought at 168 pounds. Terence Crawford, to my knowledge, has fought once at 154 pounds. And, 168 pounds is a long way up from 147. So I've run across a couple of expert opinions who say, oh yes, Terence will be fine at this weight. He's going to win. And I've run across a couple of other expert opinions that say, what is he, crazy? He's going in against a guy whom he can't hurt. That's the biggest question, is how does Terence hurt Canelo Alvarez? So at the end of the day, he's fought much bigger guys than Terence Crawford and held up to that kind of punishment. I'm not sure what Terence's plan is to win the fight other than a boxing paint job. If Terence is going to tell me my way to win the fight is I'm going to outbox him every second of every round and he's not going to find me, that's probably the right plan in my particular view. But, maybe Terence has something else in mind.
In response to the size concerns, Terence Crawford voiced his frustration towards critics, claiming that weight would not be an issue against Canelo. He reminded everyone that when Canelo moved up in weight, he lost, but when he himself made the jump, he won. For Crawford, the difference is not just about pounds on the scale, it's about skill, adaptability, and winning mentality.
We all know what Canelo brings to the table. We all know that Canelo went up to 175. We all know that. But we don't know how Crawford can compete with Canelo. We don't know. So we know what to expect when we see Canelo come into the ring and when Canelo fights, but we don't know what to expect when we see Crawford, because we never seen Crawford at this weight before.
Mm-hmm.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. So let's not do that, Canelo.
When you hear the media, when you hear the experts talk, you always hear all of them say, you never seen a smaller great fighter beat a big great fighter. So just hearing just all the things that surrounded behind the talks of Crawford going up to fight Canelo is intriguing.
Echoing that sentiment, the Wade concept addressed the widespread concern over Crawford's size. He argued that too much has been made of it, that Crawford does not even look small and has had no trouble moving up through weight classes. According to Wade, the narrative may be more inflated than necessary.
So I was going to ask you about that. A lot of people making a big deal about the weight. You just walked in here. You don't look like a 54 right now. You're looking a little more solid these days. And I don't know if this was something I got trolled into on Twitter, but I saw you'd stepped on a scale at 180, around 180-ish.
Yeah.
So you're not having any trouble moving up in weight.
I just think a lot of people is adopting other people's thoughts.
Meanwhile, Sean Porter raised concerns about whether Terence Crawford can withstand Canelo Alvarez's power over a full 12 rounds. He suggested that Canelo may come out aggressively, looking to wear Crawford down early, a smart tactic considering Canelo has recently shown signs of fatigue in the later rounds. For Porter, Crawford's durability and ability to adapt will be key if the fight ever materializes.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another. You know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out.
As the boxing world buzzes with anticipation, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez stand on the brink of a generational showdown. With legacies, weight disparities, and elite skill sets all in the mix, the outcome remains as unpredictable as it is historic. How do you think the fight will play out? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, share with fellow boxing fans, and subscribe to keep updated with all things boxing.